but yes, there was always a struggle. That one person. That's the hardest part about starting anything, is just getting over the hump of having just one person. That's the. But
I left that class. I remember you just texted, "Where are you, Piyush?" I was in a class. I was like, "It's been a month. I was here." So I just ran, took a VO, and came for 20 minutes because I have a shift after that. I remember still like I had such a strong emotion that you called me. Like I have to. Krishna is calling. I have to go there.
Yes, yes.
I ran from middle of my class. And the professor was distributing the answer sheets of the scores that we got in the exams, and he was shocked that I was going out.
Yes.
And that's the same professor who gave me the project.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
Yes.
So, well, just see, Krishna, he arranges everything.
Yeah.
So, right now he's arranging that. I'm way too hot in the sweatshirt.
And in that exam I scored a 0, so.
You scored a 0 at that time.
Exactly.
Why did he take you on for research?
So after that I scored. I topped the class.
After that you.
I got like among the best top 2 of the class. I got an A grade.
So you had to come to Krishna first and then get situated. It's not a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Okay, let us chant our prayers to the gurus. If you want, is this it right here? Yes. If you want, you can scroll these. And then online parts should join us.
चक्षुर्मितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं स्वपदान्तिकं देहां श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं संसजीवम् साद्वैतां सावधूतां परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सागना ललिता विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते कृपा गोपिकान्ता राधकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे बिन्दवनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पञ्चकल्पतरुस्याश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Let us read Bhagavatam. We are what did I title the Bhagavatam class today? I don't know. I forgot. I think I forgot a title. But anyway, what have we been talking about is the beauty of the Lord. The beauty of the Lord. Prabhupada is talking about the beauty of the deity form. It's very important when we start to worship in that way, when we accept the Archa Vigraha as important in our life, we should decorate and make as much gorgeous, or at least practically nice arrangement for the deities as possible. So this is what we do. In this way, we can perceive the beauty of the Lord, because actually the Lord is all beautiful. Personally, we haven't had a deep experience of the Lord's beauty, but we do have the Vedic descriptions of the Lord. Come on, just me and you. So it's just we have the Vedic descriptions of the Lord. So the Vedic descriptions can give us a key in on our beauty, on His beauty. Very nice. So not our beauty, His beauty. So we will learn more about the Lord's beauty today. Oh my God, what a long verse is added into the purport today. So let's get started. Shriyo nivaso yasyodaha. Shriyo nivaso yasyodaha. Panapatram mukham dusham.
Panapatram mukham dusham.
Bhavaloka palanam.
Bhavaloka palanam.
Saranganam padambujam.
Saranganam padambujam.
Shriya, of the goddess of fortune.
The goddess of fortune.
Nivasaha,
Nivasaha,
residential place.
residential.
Yasya,
Yasya,
one whose.
one whose.
Ura,
Ura,
chest.
chest.
Panapatram,
Panapatram,
the drinking pot.
the drinking pot.
Mukham,
Mukham,
face.
face.
Drisham,
Dusham,
of eyes.
of eyes.
Bahava,
Bhava,
the arms.
the arms.
Lokapalanam,
Lokapalanam,
of the administrative
of
demigods.
the administrative
Saranganam,
Saranganam,
of the devotees who talk and sing of the essence or
the
substance.
devotees who talk and sing of the essence of substance.
Pada ambujam,
Padambujam,
the lotus feet.
so to speak.
The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. That's very nice. Purport. There are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are persons who are seeking after the favor of the goddess of fortune, and for them the Vedic literatures give information that the Lord is always served with all reverence by thousands and thousands of goddesses of fortune at the Chintamani Dham. This is from the Brahma Samhita, 529. Chintamani prakata sadma sukalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu sarabir abhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra shatasam brahma sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. If you ever get a chance to read the Brahma Samhita, it's very nice. There's a small Brahma Samhita that ISKCON actually publishes, that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati does the commentary for. It's very nice. It's very small, so you could do it in like probably 2-3 days. But it's very nice. Anyhow, Brahma Samhita says, the transcendental abode of the Lord, where the trees are all desire trees, and the buildings are made of touchstone. The kalpa vrikshas are trees that fulfill all of one's desires. It's very nice. And buildings are made of touchstone, which also fulfill all desires. And anything a touchstone touches turns to like opulent gold. The Lord Govinda is engaged there in herding the Surabhi cows as his natural occupation. These goddesses of fortune can be seen automatically if we are attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. The impersonalists cannot observe such goddesses of fortune because of their dry speculative habit. And those who are artists, overtaken by the beautiful creation, should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. There are administrative demigods in charge of departmental service of cosmic management, and there are tiny administrative gods in the state service. They are always afraid of other competitors, but if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them, always from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of administration is the ideal executive head, and can well protect the interest of the people in general. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anachronisms, which I'll have to Google what that means because I don't know. Anachronism is a thing belonging or appropriate to a period other than that which it exists. So something that's conspicuously old-fashioned. Or an act of attributing a custom, event, or an object to a period to which it does not belong. So let's see what that means in context here. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anachronisms, leading to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. So meaning that they're leaders, but they ultimately, because they're all governed and led by the Lord, it's like a false figurehead. Actually, I was meaning to tell you, sometimes, Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, that anyone who worships any of the demigods, they do nothing but worship me, but they do so in a wrong way. So all the demigods are but anachronisms. So if we ultimately want something, or, there can be respect, like Ganesh Puja, or Ganesh is often given the first honor in any yajna and things like this. Nothing wrong with this, but ultimately the Vaishnavas, they know that everything is going, Ganesh is but a representation of the Lord's potency and power. So it's an anachronism to prioritize Ganesh worship over the Lord's worship, or the goddess of fortune must be honored now above the Lord, and like this. So these are just but anachronisms. It's like, if you got a project at work from the CEO, let's say Rishi got a project from Elon Musk at Tesla, but then all of a sudden, Rishi, his regional manager is also giving pressure to Rishi and trying to potentially conflict with the time that he'd work on the project for Elon Musk. It would be a bad policy for Rishi to accept the regional managers. He could explain to him, I apologize, I'm not able to do this, but I have very important work for Elon Musk, your boss. So like this. So it's never recommended to prioritize worship of demigods. We can give respect, we can give honor, but especially when we see them, but it's anachronism to worship any other god other than the Supreme Lord. So anyway, this leads to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them, meaning because the one that they worship also is subject to birth, death, disease, old age, and all of the problems of the material world. Anyone who is following such a leader will be subject to those things as well. Now, where is it? The administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. He is called the Saram. And those who sing and talk about him are called the Sarangas, or the pure devotees. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus has a kind of honey which is transcendently relished by the devotees. They are like the bees who are always after the honey. Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. Do you know what that song is? We've sung it before. It says, "O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly, therefore, give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for all transcendental honey." And it's Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande, Manmanasa Madhukara Marpaya Nijapada, Pankaja Makarande. We sang, that's Damodarastakam. We sang that one a bunch of times, but I haven't sang it in a while in a class, so we should do it. It's a very nice bhajan.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes. And then this is, he's actually, I think, translating out the whole song. And then the next verse is, "I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet." Rupa Goswami says, "I have not even a sesame seed of bhakti. But because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet can deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please therefore let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service." So he just translated out the whole bhajan. It's very nice. The devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord, and have no ambition to see his all-beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees. So this is our conviction. There's a couple things here. It's talking about the splendor of the Lord's chest. The goddess of fortune, all the goddesses of fortune serve the Lord. Everyone in the spiritual realm, especially in Goloka, Krishna's abode, are all goddesses of fortune. They do nothing but bring, right, we chant every morning, "Fortune's lotus, white moonbeams glow." It's part of the Shikshastakam. This Harinam Sankirtan brings about the fortune of the Lord because it's not different from the Lord, and naturally all the goddesses of fortune follow those who worship the Lord. I've seen this in my life. I had no fortune in my life, not much to work with in my life, any type of opulence in my life. But as soon as I started prioritizing worshiping the Lord, I'm not bereft. No, there's no bereft of money or opportunity or this, that. Yes, I can't make any decision that I like, and yes, all the wealth is coming at my disposal. No, but if I'm sincerely trying to worship the Lord and improve it, the Lord always makes enough resources there. And you guys have knowing us over the past few years have probably seen it over and over again. We don't know how the next thing is going to come, and always it comes. And more is being made available for the Lord's worship. This is how it works. If you want the goddess of fortune, not to say that you should be chasing after the goddess of fortune, but in the beginning everyone is very materially motivated. But if anyone really wants the goddess of fortune, or all of their fortune to be there in their life, and enough wealth, prosperity, all these things, the only place where the goddess of fortune will always stay is with the Lord. Everywhere else she will leave. She's very fickle. She will go somewhere, some wealth will come at some time, but then it'll all be lost later on. But if you always go to where the Lord is, and the Lord is being worshipped, the goddess of fortune will always follow the Lord. So this is to be seen. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes, which hanker after all that is beautiful. So if you want to see the most beautiful of anything, the Lord's face is that ultimate beauty. And Prabhupada is very poetic here. He was talking about all kinds of different aspects of nature that is so beautiful, are nothing but features of the Lord's face, features of the Lord himself. So ultimately his face is the topmost of this thing, most beautiful thing. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods. The Kshatriyas, the protectors, are said to be the manifestations of the arms. So the Lord, all of the administrative demigods, any type of administration, I mean right now we're trying to lead something here. But if I try to rely on my own strength, I will fail over and over again and realize my limited capacity. But if we try and do things on behalf of the Lord, we can always trust that the administration will go on nicely. And the demigods all seek shelter of the Lord. That's who empowers them in the first place. And his lotus feet, and we see this in all the pastimes, that all the demigods have to rely on the incarnations of Vishnu over and over and over again. Because the demonic always rise up and challenge them and eventually usurp them. But what's the difference between the demigods and the asuras? Is that the demigods, they go to the Lord. Even in history, there's great rulers, and some have amassed power by all kinds of interesting means. But ultimately, the ruler who is favored by God, he will come out triumphant, victorious. We see this in Bhagavad Gita. Even now, we're seeing, in India, Modi is very prominent. And one of the things that I feel that makes Modi very prominent is that he has a penchant for worshiping the Lord and being sincere to his faith. Even now in the USA, maybe many people would argue in this, but this administration on all levels, even they have even in the Hindu faith and other things like this, but many are very God-centric. Whereas the previous administrations were a bit more secular, claiming to have some religion, but a bit more secular. But you see, this administration had won with a very, very much popular type of vote of the people. But what people did he attract? It's all the God-loving country people. That was the prime voters, where more so the secular, or even though much more populated cities, which are much more secular, didn't vote for this person because the God-centered people of the country, they did want. Now, I'm not saying that this person is always so God-centered. I hope he becomes God-centered. I hope he is God-centered. Sometimes he makes a show, or sometimes he makes it appear that he's God-centered. Maybe he is, I don't know. But this is, if you want to administrate anything properly, you be God-centered. And if you're not God-centered, you have no protection, ultimately. Any power that you have is only being borrowed by God. And if you don't use it to please God, it's not worth. But even sometimes God will take it from you. Like at the end, you'll see actually in a chapter or two that Arjuna will lose all his strength at one point. And when do you know when he loses his strength? What happens in the world where now his power is taken? You'll find out in a chapter or two. Krishna leaves.
Yeah,
Once Krishna leaves, Arjuna loses everything. Yes, he loses everything, and he gets defeated by a bunch of cowherds trying to protect Krishna's queens, but he lost all his power. Now that's, our acharyas say that there's an esoteric understanding and meaning to this. We'll talk about that when we get to that chapter. I don't want to jump ahead. But we see actually that there may be a time where we lose our power. We can't, I keep worshiping the Lord, I keep worshiping the Lord. Well, the Lord might have a better plan for you now. Now your power to run this operation, time may run out. And the devotee understands, the Lord wants me to do something else. You see this in your life. The Lord makes you change services a few times. Like, all right, I do this and I have the power to do this, but now I have no capacity to do this anymore. So anyhow, his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. So ultimately, what do the devotees go for? They go for the Lord's feet because they're so humble. They're not so arrogant or pompous to think, I deserve the Lord's face. Even in the Bhagavatam, right? What did we start at? What canto? Canto 1. It said each canto of the Bhagavatam represents a limb of the Lord. Canto 1 and 2 are the two lotus feet of the Lord. And then progressively you move up the body. Even when taking darshan of the Lord, the proper order of darshan is you should start with the feet and work your way up slowly. This is a symbol of humility. Also when approaching our superior devotees, right? It's custom to touch their feet, it's custom to, supplicate before their feet, bow before them. Why? Because this is putting us on a low level and trying to approach them, understanding that their lowest level is much higher than us. So this is our position. So this is what the devotees do with the Lord. They're always wanting to be at his feet. Many people who they want to jump right to all the confidential, rasik, really spectacular pastimes found in the 10th canto. But they don't want to build the foundation. They don't want to humbly approach the Lord through cantos 1, 2, and then work themselves up to be able to actually properly take darshan of the Lord in the right way. So this is why the Bhagavatam, it's very important that we do it systematically. And we do our worship systematically. We shouldn't try to jump, I'm here now. I heard about this very exotic and, very high type of pastime, and now I'm here. No, you have to work your way up to that. And the Lord has to give you entrance. You can't enter into these things without the blessings, actually, of the humble Vaishnavas who've been granted access to this thing. You have a question, Parth?
So we cannot hear the sense of Krishna like when we listen in a YouTube. Like
You can hear, but I wouldn't prioritize so much that this is all that you want to hear whenever you want to hear something, especially if you don't take the time to set the foundation. So interestingly enough, if you hear Prabhupada's Krishna book, Prabhupada did the Krishna book before he finished the Bhagavatam, before he did many other literatures. But if you read Prabhupada's Krishna book, and actually thank God I read Prabhupada's Krishna book, he's so artful and so skillful in presenting everything in such a way that he helps set the foundation for you. And he's very careful with how he shares it. And you notice, even if you do eventually get to these pastimes in the Bhagavatam and you actually hear some of the commentaries of our acharyas on it, you notice Prabhupada, he leaves out certain things that we're not eligible for. So it's very important that you set the foundation. And, if you were to hear, let's say, Krishna book, Prabhupada, he does that for you. But at the same time, Prabhupada has translated out the whole Bhagavatam. Why? So you can build the foundation. And so similarly, it's a gradual process, and a lot of times, especially, when we're more rajasic, we want to go and conquer God, take him by storm. And the desire is good to want to achieve the Lord, but at the same time, there's a proper process, there's a proper etiquette, and we have to overcome the feeling that we are the master and we're the enjoyer, and God is for my enjoyment. This is a very deep-rooted thing. We have to shift the paradigm that I'm presenting myself for your enjoyment. How can I act in such a way that this is for your pleasure? I'm not here trying to get the benefits of you, because this is motivated bhakti, and it will become interrupted bhakti as well, because we'll burn out like this. Is that it? Is it any more?
So the emphasis should be building the foundation, but once in a while we can just.
Yeah, what is a good thing you can do is every so often if you find a teacher you're really inspired by, you should hear what they're talking about, and if they want to talk about high things, hear it from them, because they will be very careful to share it in an appropriate way if they're a bona fide person, so you should, that's one thing. But I wouldn't go out of the way and say, okay, never read the Bhagavatam, never read Chaitanya Charitamrita, or the understanding the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and then I want to hear the topmost confidential works. I'm even afraid to name them, because you start naming them, then the light bulbs go on in the head. Well, let me check out what that is. But there are very confidential works as well, so not recommended. But if you build the foundation and you understand these things, then gradually you'll gain access to these things. Just knowing about some of these works in itself is an access.
Sorry to interrupt, Prabhu. I think what I've understood with that is like, you are not, why it is not given to you yet, because it's not that the information is profound. I'm not saying it's not profound, I'm saying
it's very profound.
The way you approach it changes, because when you have a solid base, till you have a particular bhav to approach it, the real essence will not reveal itself even if you read it.
Yes.
So that bhav and that eligibility is required to even approach it. You may read it, but you will not get the profoundness. You will neglect it, and you will not come back to it.
Yes, and you'll have all kinds of misconceptions about what it is. Yes, this is actually also present in the Dham as well. Anyone can go to Vrindavan, anyone could book a flight or train ticket. I mean, Krishna can arrange, if he really doesn't want you to go, he can get your flight cancelled. One time we got our train ticket cancelled when me and my wife were first trying to go to Vrindavan. The first time she was trying to go to Vrindavan, the train got cancelled. And so we had to, Krishna eventually let us in again. But even when you go to Vrindavan, you can go to all the pastime places, you can go to all the temples, and you can all these confidential things.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and you'll feel barely anything. Why? Because you don't have the eligibility, or you're not hearing from a person who has the eligibility to unlock these secrets for you. So similarly, by good fortune, we have Srila Prabhupada's commentary on Bhagavatam, and he can help us unlock. Now, that being said, even better, not that we're just saying, well, this is even better, though, you have somebody who understands the heart and mood of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, and they can personally help guide you through these things. Even better. They can twist your ear if you're having a misconception. They can help guide you on the right path. So this has happened in my life, in my devotional life. Over times I get humbled by meeting superior devotees, and if I be at all sincere, I realize that I should humble myself before them, and I should listen to them and get their advice on how to approach these things. So if you do like that, you'll be successful. If you try to make your way right to the face without first approaching the feet, you'll not be eligible. And Krishna will arrange a block for you, because you still have to work on humility. That's why Trinadapi Sunechana is like the most important teaching. We have to cultivate that humility. Even Jesus, this is, blessed are the humble. This has to be done so that you can properly gain access and you don't try to exploit and pervert these things, because inevitably they can, and you see this. There's so many sects. These are called aprasampradayas. That there's many aprasampradayas who have tried to take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and intimate Vaishnava teachings and pervert them, and have done so many degraded things. Even in ISKCON, this has happened, unfortunately. It happened very prominently when Prabhupada left the planet. Once Prabhupada left, many disciples who were not qualified to take a position that they tried to take did crazy things, crazy, abominable things. But why? Because they were trying to approach something they didn't have the eligibility for. And actually, they still had to approach. There were other senior Vaishnavas still left on the planet, and they tried to take the positions themselves without approaching the senior Vaishnavas who were left to help guide them. No, that's very controversial as far as an ISKCON stance. And actually, I doubt anyone prominent is listening, but if the GVC was listening, they would wholeheartedly probably disagree with me. But it's obvious that this is the case. It's obvious if you look at the history and you look at what happened, that this is simply due to offenses that were made, that created to the senior Vaishnavas and devotees. And Srila Prabhupada gave instructions as to which one of his godbrothers and contemporaries that he would recommend that his disciples to hear from. But unfortunately, because the nature of the material modes, people can get very thirsty for some of the benefits or material benefits that can be exploited from taking a position of leadership. Myself here, we're running an ashram, right? Sometimes, my wife is always checking me, but sometimes my head can go crazy, like, oh, you guys are so eligible eager to do service and things like that. If I'm not careful, I can, have you guys doing like crazy things, like, all right, Piyush, now you have to massage my feet in the morning, or, like, obviously you would say no. Hopefully you would say no. But, this intoxication can happen to anybody. As soon as you get some prominence, some level of leadership, you can do abominable things. So ultimately, these things have to be done in guidance, and you become eligible when you ultimately are given the mercy and through the service, through the humility you show before your spiritual master. That's how Srila Prabhupada got his spiritual master. Yes, he had, it was seeming that he had so much material opulence at his disposal. He had billions of dollars at his disposal. He had people massaging him every day, cooking all his meals. But you know what? Every step of the way, you can tell he was detached from all of it. And that's when Krishna gives it to you. When you're detached from it, then you can have it. That's the secret. But he was detached from all of it. Why? Because he was humbly trying to serve his spiritual master. So Krishna gave him every facility to do what he needed to do. So anyway, this kind of back to this humility, And Jesus, he says this: those who humble themselves are exalted, and those who exalt themselves are humbled.
Are humbled.
And what?
Are humbled. Those who exalt themselves are humbled, right?
Yes, are humbled. Yes.
As circumstances.
Yes, exactly. If you try and put yourself up high, then Krishna will humble you. But if you try and go humble, then Krishna will exalt you, will raise you. So this is to be seen. You'll see this in your life. I promise you. But anyhow, let us. Yes.
Since we are talking, I just
No problem. Clarification is good.
Yeah. So once I asked a question to Guru Maharaj about, I forgot like the context. I don't remember exactly what question I asked, but in the context he was saying, like in his answer he explained everything, and he also suggested to go and check the Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj's prayers and their story in Bhagavatam.
Yes.
Then I didn't ask at that point to him because those comes in 7th canto and the 4th or 5th, like the later cantos.
Yes.
So what I did was I listened to some of the lectures instead of reading the cantos. So is that, I just wanted to see if that's okay. Like,
Yeah. Reading and listening are like synonymous. If you hear a YouTube lecture or if you read personally, I read. If you listen very attentively, it's like akin to reading. But I personally like reading because when I listen, my mind gets a little crazy and then I miss something and then I lose the whole train and I have to go back. So yeah, but it depends on each individual person. I mean, if he gave you the instruction, to go read this thing, yeah, why did go read that thing? It's a good thing. And don't be like, oh well, it's in the 7th canto and I'm in the 1st canto. No, you can go read it, no problem. Nrsimha Chaturdasi is only in a few days, maybe 15 days, 2 weeks from now, Nrsimha Chaturdasi. We'll talk about the 7th canto and what he does. It's the appropriate time to do, but it's not saying now, okay, well, I'm going to start now on the 7th canto tomorrow and then I'll finish the Bhagavatam that way. No, just work your way through. But yeah, there's special times, festivals. When you hear from a personality, they might talk about the 11th canto, the 12th canto. No problem. They will present it, hopefully, in a way that's appropriate for you to hear. But they have the qualification to know this thing. They know it very well because they themselves have gone through each canto. They themselves have gotten the mercy of the devotees and the realization that has been given to such devotees. And they receive that mercy. So yeah, you can listen, no problem. But listening and reading they're not different. They're not really too different. As long, I personally like reading much better, much better. But there have been times where
the trick is in which you can focus.
Yes.
I mean, the reason why I was listening because since I haven't read the whole till 7, I haven't read the Bhagavatam.
No, you can read. No, you can read. No problem. You can read. It's good to hear from devotees too, but you can read. If he said to read this instruction, because the Bhagavatam is actually in such a way that you can go to any which chapter and you'll get great benefit. Yeah, it's not chronological, but at the same time you can get great benefit from any chapter in the Bhagavatam.
Because the truth is not chronological.
Yeah. Well, yes, the truth is eternal,
yes.
and there's no unraveling of truth. But there is what I can say. There are foundations to understand deeper levels of truth, and there's a reason I'm reading the Bhagavatam for the 3rd time. Going through it the first time, a certain foundation was there, and then going through it the 2nd time, I have a much deeper understanding, and now the 3rd time, I'm like having realizations I couldn't even imagine of having. I never would have had the 1st or 2nd time. And then who knows with the 4th, 5th, who knows how far I get in this lifetime, because it's
I
long.
think someone told that if you read Krishna Chaitanya Charitamrita 8 times, you will be fulfilled.
Yes. It's recommended to read all these scriptures 108 times. So, but that being said, you can hear these things, and if say a senior Vaishnava like Guru Maharaj, he instructed you to look at these teachings, you can look at them. That doesn't mean now that, okay, I've advanced all the other parts of the Bhagavatam before this, not so important. It's just, time, place, circumstance. So, but yeah, if he says to read it, go read it. Yeah, it's a good idea. But at the same time, don't feel like, I have to do the first other 6 cantos first to get there. No, that's like niyamagraha, where we're following rules when we don't know why we're following the rules. He's helping give you he's giving you some context to something, and he's wanting to elaborate and showing you a teaching in the Bhagavatam that might elaborate on something you're struggling with. So you look, and you remember, and you hold it in your heart, but then you go back to whatever canto you're on, and you keep working up systematically. So like that. All right, well, I think we have to end here. We did 1 verse today. But a lot of good subject matter, a lot of good discourse and discussion. Yes, I have to be a bit more attentive to my son and my wife. So if you guys can, yes, you can end. Thank you for joining.